Greetings, GCSE teachers. You are here either because you have chosen to take the 30-minute mini course covering the advanced use of Google Docs, or because you have chosen to take the 3-hour professional development course, which covers the advanced use of Google Docs, but covers all of the 4 main apps of the Google Docs suite. Either way, this course covers the Google Docs portion of that, and there will be some information here that will be a little bit of a review, and then I will dive into showing you some features which will hopefully allow you to use Google Docs perhaps a little bit more efficiently than what you have been using in the past. Before we start, I think it's important to have a quick review, and just as a quick review, you may remember that Google Docs exists in a place we call the cloud. The cloud is really just the internet, but it's very different than how we have traditionally used computers. You had a file, you stored it on your computer, you stored it on a flash drive, you wanted to take it home and work on it, you had to physically take your laptop home, or you had to physically take your flash drive home, or your disk, or whatever it was that you used. With the cloud, you don't have to do that. If I am at my school computer and I create something and I save it, and then later on in the day I have my iPad with me at school, I want to make a change, I can make that change, it saves automatically to the cloud, and then later on that night, before I distribute to the students tomorrow, I realize, oh, I need to make a last minute change. If I have the app installed on my phone, I can make the changes needed there, and then tomorrow when I go into my computer, it's going to show up there because they're all in the cloud. The cloud is kind of everywhere and nowhere at the same time, which can be kind of mind-blowing, I guess. But your documents are not stored in any one physical location. They're not on your computer. Even though they're run by Google, Google moves them around all over the country all the time. Google has these data warehouses, and they store things at different places and move them around in case there's a power outage, and has multiple copies of things, rather. And you can access those any place that you have access to the internet. So the cloud is really useful in that way. It can kind of lull you into that sense of security that your documents out here in this place that you have no control over, and there certainly is some concern over that. I would not say it's a reason to be worried, but there is some concern. Chances are Google's massive data warehouses are all not going to go down at the same time. Just think of Google Docs as an interactive version of Microsoft Office. Now, Microsoft has done some things to make itself more interactive, but when Google Docs first came out, that was its real selling point to people. It's much more interactive than Microsoft Office. It allows multiple people to edit a document at the same time. It allows some very interesting collaboration techniques that Microsoft has now jumped on board with, but did not have at the time. Here are some examples of the features I'm going to cover in today's video. And once we finish this, we'll wrap up and I'll actually show you and demonstrate all of these techniques to you. First of all, how to use templates, how to use the Explore feature, how to use the Define feature, how to edit an image, how to insert an equation, how to insert a special character, how to paste without formatting, and how to view your revision history. Those are what I kind of call the general features that I think would be good for everyone. Obviously, things like the equation editor are going to be more pertinent to a math or science person, but these are things I think would generally be useful for everyone in Google Docs. I will also cover the editing features. These allow you to share with collaborators, these allow you to comment, and how to suggest instead of edit. These also should be useful for everyone, but these are useful only for people who are sharing their document with others. If you're just doing a standalone document just for yourself, those would not be as useful or really useful at all. But if you're planning on collaborating with other people, these features will be extraordinarily useful. And then what I call the cool features, which are just things that are different or unique and that are kind of particular to Google Docs. And those are the keyboard shortcuts, emails and attachment, how to add more fonts, how to use voice typing, how to add a bookmark, how to change preferences, and how to download and use add-ons. So those are the basics of what I will be covering in today's session. Just as a final reminder, Google Docs, they are the wave of the future. I truly believe that because they are what we call device agnostic, which means they work on any device or on any operating system. So if you have an iPhone and you have your school-issued Dell Windows laptop, you can use Google Docs on both of those just fine, and they work perfectly well, and they don't have the compatibility issues that something like Pages or Keynote or Word or PowerPoint would have. And remember, if you are watching this for the mini course, you can, after the video, you can take the quiz that is linked in the YouTube channel, and then you can get your badge that is specific for Google Docs. If you are taking the entire 3-hour professional development course, obviously you're going to want to continue on with your Canvas course because there will be an assignment there that you have to complete, and that will demonstrate to me your knowledge of all things Google Docs. Now for the important things, a little real-world practice. So I'm going to exit out of the presentation here, and I have a couple of things open. I have a document that's already opened. I have a Wikipedia page open, which I will tell you why I have that in just a moment. And I have my Drive open. You can start Google Docs from one of two locations. I personally like to start from Google Drive. If you prefer, you can go to docs.google.com. I don't feel this allows you the amount of organization that Google Drive does, but if you want to start there, you certainly can. I prefer to start from Drive, so that's where I'm going to start from for the demonstration. Okay, let's say that I am in Drive and I want to start a new document. I'm going to click New, and I'm going to go to Google Doc. And from that prompt, I am taken, of course, to a new document. The introductory video covered basics of things like naming and that sort of thing that I'm not going to cover in this advanced course, but if you want a refresher on that, you can refer back to that YouTube video, or feel free to, of course, always shoot me an email here at school. One of the things that a lot of people don't know about are the templates. And if I go to File, and I go to New, and I know I just went to New, but if I go to New from a template, so instead of starting just a regular document, I start a document from a template, I can see that here there are a number of options for me to complete a template. And this is one of the main complaints that I know teachers have had over the last few years is, as we went away from Microsoft Office for student use, how do you do reports? How do you do resumes? Those kinds of things are not available for students. They are in fact available, they're just available through a different format, and obviously that format is Google Docs. And you can see here there are a number of options. There are reports, there are resumes, there are letters, several versions of reports actually, for yourself, for your own personal use. There are lesson plans, there are notes. Obviously the list of templates is not as extensive as it is in Microsoft Office certainly, but that does not mean that there are not some very good templates here. One of the main uses I think could be for English teachers, for language teachers, in reports. So notice there's a report that defaults to MLA format. There's also a report that defaults to APA format. I believe most of our teachers here are using MLA. Most of my reports in graduate school have written some of my reports in APA. So I'm going to click on MLA, and I'm going to start that. And you will see when you start, it's already been laid out in MLA format. And it has a bunch of garbage text here that looks like Latin, but it's not Latin. It's actually a space filler, and I forget the name of the font that is even used, but it basically is meant to replicate the spacing of an actual report, and so you get the idea of what your report would look like as you look at your paper. So I think this is a 2 or 3 page report, 2-page report with your works cited, already done, already created as examples here. This would be great for a language teacher if you wanted to model an MLA paper, if you wanted to show the students how to set that up from a template. Also of note, I will create another document here from a template. Is a newsletter. I know lots of teachers complete newsletters, and there has been some concern going away from Microsoft Word how we would do that. Let me find that again here. I know there is one because I clicked on it earlier when I was preparing for class. There we go, newsletter. There are a couple of options down here at the bottom. So there's 2 or 3 versions for your newsletter down there that you could use that you might want to explore. So that is starting something from a template. So again, in order to get there, I simply create a new document, and then from there I go File, New again, and then I go from template, and that will create my, will bring up my options that I can choose of how to create from a template. If you do choose to go the route of just docs.google.com, it will take you straight to this feature, which is nice. However, it will not give you the organizational feature of Google Drive, and I prefer the organization over the options, knowing that I can get to those options simply by 2 more clicks, File and then New. Again, if you prefer that Google Docs option, go for it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that way, I just prefer this way. Okay, I have a document open here. I'm going to close all of these out. I'll leave one open for the future. I have this document here, which all of you have obviously seen. This is my list of fall professional development classes. And I'm going to show you a few things here using this on a document that are already created. One thing I want to show you is the Explore feature. So let's say I have a word in my document, if it were a student report that you really wanted to explore further, you wanted students to basically do some research on that. So let's say that I really wanted someone to explore what is technology. The way I'm going to get that is I'm going to highlight the word technology, and then I'm going to right-click in that blue space someplace, and I will have a number of options. Notice one of the options is Explore Technology, so I'm going to click there, and the sidebar opens up over here on the right side. And the first place it takes me is to the technology definition for Wikipedia. So if students wanted to research technology from Wikipedia, they could do that. It gives me the definition, it takes me to the technology news from the New York Times. There are a whole wealth of resources here. And in fact, I can open up the results on Google and see all of them. And I can also click on images. And these are content filtered images that are in the public domain that would possibly be able to be used in a report if I wanted to include the pictures of that in a report. And I can also search on my drive for anything I have that is technology related. So perhaps I wanted to review something, then I could certainly do that from my drive. So I can research any word, any topic. I can do phrases. I can do entire paragraphs if I wanted to do that, but I can explore that and research that by simply highlighting the word and then right-clicking and then going to explore. Similarly, I can also, this is exploring the define feature now. So if I wanted to simply define technology, I could highlight it, I could right click again, and I could go to define technology. And this is going to take me to Google's built-in dictionary, which is going to give me the definition for the word that I have selected. So a great way for students to double check that they have the correct meaning of the word in the proper location of the document. So that will take you to the built-in dictionary. So again, that's simply right click and then define the word that you have highlighted. Okay, for this next example, which is how to edit an image, I'm going to jump back over to a new document because I don't want to mess up my professional development document there. Another common complaint about Google Docs is that it doesn't have the range of photo editing that are present in the Microsoft Office products. And I'm not going to argue that. Microsoft Office certainly has, in my opinion, a better range of photo editing options. However, there are some things in Google Docs that people are not aware of for the most part. So let's say I want to insert an image. I can do that one of several ways. I guess I should say that. I'm going to go to Insert, and then I'm going to go to Image. And from here, I can do a couple things. I can upload a document from, not a document, I'm sorry, I can upload an image from my computer. I could upload it from a flash drive. If we had webcams, you could take a snapshot, but we don't have webcams. You could do it from a URL, from a web address, from your albums you've already created, from your Google Drive, or you could just search the public domain. So I'm just going to search the public domain here, and going back to my earlier example, I'm just going to search technology. Okay, here is the picture, and I'm going to select that picture, and I am going to allow it to enter into my document. Okay, so once I am here, if I click on the document, if I click on the image, I can go to Tools. Okay, correction, I do not go to Tools. Actually, I'm going to go to Format. I'm going to go to Format, and then I'm going to go to Image Options. And once I do that, this sidebar pops up again. And notice I have several options here. First of all, I could recolor. So if I wanted to use like a sepia tone, or if I wanted to use black and white, or if I wanted to do some funky, crazy color, I could do that. So let's say I wanted to change that to a black and white picture because I really like black and white photography, I could do that. Another option is to adjust the transparency. So if you want to do that, you can adjust here, and then the brightness and the contrast, and you can reset any of those options. Once you close those, the image is going to be set. Another common comment is that you can't add borders. You can in fact add borders in Google Docs. You simply click on the picture and then you click on the pencil as if you were going to draw a line, which I'm sure many of you have used this command to draw a line other times in Google Docs. Let's say I want a nice solid black border around that, maybe about a 4-point line. There is my border around the picture. So I can in fact add the border as well. And if I click on the picture, I can crop that image, of course, by clicking here, dragging in. So if I want to reduce the size of that, and then I can resize the image as well. So again, there are not as many features as there are in Microsoft Office as there are. Google Docs does not have as many features as Microsoft Office. Apologize for my misspeaking there, but there are certainly enough options where you can add a border and where you can create enough features that you have a usable photograph for sure. Okay, another feature that would certainly be of use to science and math teachers is the equation bar. So if I go to View, I can go to Show Equation Toolbar, and I can insert a new equation. I have numerous options to choose from Greek letters, I have symbols, and I have entire formulas. So let's say that I wanted to find the sum of something, and then I wanted to find this over the square root of some number. I can insert the formula, and there it is, and I can edit that formula. I can delete that formula simply by hitting the backspace and getting rid of the options that are there. I can turn off the equation toolbar and exit out of that and be back in regular text. So again, if I want to get there, it's View and then Show Equation Toolbar, and then I hit New Equation, and then I can enter the information. So let's say if I want to have a fraction, oops, if I want 7, easier said than done. There we go. Just going to click in the wrong place. So if I want 7/8 times the, again, times the square root of 56, I could do that. It's simple enough and easy enough to set that up, which is a great feature. I know there are some add-ins for Microsoft Word, but this is already built into Google Docs, and so you may find the equation editor useful, especially if you are a science or math teacher. Maybe you have an equation that has a special character that is not listed here, and you want to use what is called a special character. So the way you're going to do that is you are going to go to Insert, and then you are going to go to Special Characters. This is perhaps one of my favorite features of Google Docs. I think this is just incredibly cool. There are all these features, some of which are math-based, some of which are just simply symbols, some of which are notations. There's lots of options there. Some of them are just arrows. But let's say that I want the approximately equal to sign, which is the equal sign, but they're kind of wavy. I can draw that symbol here, and Google will automatically start to narrow down what it thinks I want. And it obviously didn't find the exact match, but I can see right here, that's what I want, the roughly equal sign, and there it is, I can enter that. So if you have a symbol and you want to draw that, Google will find the best, what it believes is the best solution for that. So I'm going to go to do that again. I'm going to go to Insert and then Special Characters, and then let's say this time I want to, we'll clear the previous results. Let's say I want to find the square root symbol. So if I search, and there are my options for the square root symbol. So simply by drawing that, I can try to find the character that I want to input, which I think is really cool. Okay, I'm going to insert a page break here so I can go down to the next page. One of the other things that comes in handy with Google Docs is the paste without formatting. And that can come in handy, like let's say that you have an article that you found online that you want to have students read, but you don't want to just link them to the website for whatever reason. You may want to just copy and paste that into a Word document, allow the students to read that. Sorry, into a Google Docs document and let the students read that. So I'm going to go over here. I just have the Bob Dylan Wikipedia page open. So let's say I want to copy the first paragraph of the Bob Dylan Wikipedia page. So I'm simply going to highlight that and copy it. And then I'm going to go back over here to my document. Under normal conditions, I would just paste that. But when I paste that, notice how all the hyperlinks show up, and it doesn't look very clean. It doesn't look very smooth for a document. It looks fine for Wikipedia. It just doesn't look fine for the document here. So I'm going to undo that, and there's a better way. So I have copied that item, and if I right-click, and if I go paste without formatting, it's going to paste the Bob Dylan entry into Wikipedia, which matches my font and my style that I have been typing in. So you can simply avoid the formatting issues by right-clicking and choosing Paste Without Formatting. Okay, so that kind of concludes the general overview of some of the features. I want to move on now to some of the editing features for the next section. And for that, I'm going to jump back to my document that I had already created. Let's say that you have created a document, but you really liked an earlier version of that document that you had created. Something neat that Google Docs allows you to do is it allows you to see the revision history. So you can simply go to File, and I can then click on See Revision History, and I can see that this document was created on August 29th, and I edited it again on the 29th, edited it on the 30th, and then edited it again today. So if I want to click on an old version and see what it looks like, I can click on that old version, and it will take me back there. Obviously, I do not want this original version because it's blank. If I did, I would hit Restore this version. So let's take a look at what I had at 3:49 that day, and I can see here what the document looked like then. It was starting to take shape, but obviously I've made changes since then, so I don't want to restore that version. But if I did, I would hit Restore this version. That allows you to go back in time and access a previous version of the document. So again, that's File, and that is See Revision History. The screen will pop up over here, the toolbar rather, will pop up on the screen, and you can see the previous versions of your document. Okay, most of you are probably aware that you can share a document on Google Drive, and this is a quick review, but you can share that, and you can share it by editing, by commenting, or viewing, and you can share that as a link, or you can email it directly to the people you would like to collaborate with. So that can be a very handy feature for sharing with grade level coworkers, parents, perhaps even. There are certain things that comes in very useful for. If you are collaborating with multiple people, you can create a comment bar on the right side where people can comment. So let's say that I am concerned that the stipend isn't enough with the person who I collaborated with. I can go to insert, and then I can go to comment, and I can type a comment that I would like for the person to see on who's editing the document with me. Let's say I want to be very specific, and I want to know if Mr. Hubble thinks that is correct. I can go to insert comment, and I can type and I can sort of type Mr. Hubble's name, and I won't enter that because I don't want him to get the email about it, but I can type his name in there and say, at Jeff Hubble, is this correct? Just like you would in Twitter or Facebook, and it will tag them, and Mr. Hubble will get an email notifying him of this document that I've shared with him and that he has a comment that he needs to respond to. So that's an interesting feature. If you're doing a lesson plan across subject levels or something, you might want to tag your other teachers as you're commenting on the object that you are discussing. Another option as part of editing, and I'm going to hit resolve so this comment goes away. Another part of editing is up here where you see the pencil. You can click the down arrow and you can go to suggesting. So if you have shared a document with multiple people, but you don't want them to make all kinds of crazy changes to your document, you can turn on the suggesting option right here. And what happens in that is if somebody makes a change, so let's say that I shared this with someone and they want to change this to spring, notice that it says replace fall with spring. So as the owner of the document, I'm going to get the option, do I want to resolve that and accept that, or do I want to ignore that? So if my coworker typed that in there and I think that's great, I can hit accept, or if I'm like, no, I still want this to say fall, I can just hit reject, and it will keep the original verbiage that I had there. So that's a nice feature that you can turn on before you share a document with people. You might want to turn on the suggesting as opposed to editing or viewing. So then when you share it with them, they have only the option to enter suggestions. The changes they make will be, you will have the final say on that. Okay, just a couple of more quick features that are really cool, I think. One are the keyboard shortcuts. I like to use the mouse personally, but I know some people really prefer using the keyboard in programs. To get there, you go to Help, and then you go to Keyboard Shortcuts. This shows you all the keyboard shortcuts, so if you want to italicize something, you can highlight it, hit Control-I, and that will take care of it as opposed to hitting the italic button on your screen. Another option that I think is really cool that is a lot of people always ask about, can I email directly from a document? Google Docs, you can. You go to File, and you go Email as an Attachment, and you can choose the type of file that you want to save this as, type in the email address of the person, type a message to them, you can email it directly from the document. You don't need to open your Gmail, you can email it directly from the document, which is really cool. You can add more fonts. If I click the down arrow on my font selection, I can go to the bottom and I can hit more fonts. And Google has a whole array of fonts that I can choose from, a lot of them that are here, and you can see it defaults to only these, but I can add any font that I would like. I can sort by all sorts of categories here of fonts that I want. So some people think that Google is limited in the amount of fonts that it has, and while that is true right here, there are not many. There are many, many more that you can add by simply choosing the more fonts option. Another really cool thing is the voice typing feature. And to get there, I am going to go to Tools, and I'm going to turn on voice typing. And if I click this, it should now start putting my words across the screen. And I'm going to stop. And as you can see, there are some problems. Obviously, it's not a perfect translation. Obviously, I didn't say Lexus. And I would need to fix that, and you have to say things like new line or period, exactly as it tells you there. Those are interesting features, and they can be useful as well, but voice typing is really good. Another feature, I'm going to jump back over here, is adding a bookmark. So let's say this is a multiple page document, and tomorrow I'm getting ready to leave for the day, and tomorrow I want to come back and know exactly where I left off. I can go to Insert, and I can go to Bookmark down here. And so now I have a bookmark, and I know exactly where I left off. If you really want to get fancy, you can link that to other places in the document, or link it even to a website. I won't discuss that right here and take up any more time, but so if I exit out of this document, tomorrow when I come back, it is right there. I know where my bookmark is, and I am set and ready to take off working again tomorrow. You will notice a lot of times when you type something in Google Docs, like if I type 7/8, it's going to automatically correct to 7/8. And some people like that and some people don't. If you go to Tools and then Preferences, you can turn on or off the things that are automatically changed, and you can also turn off some other options here about automatically detecting lists and quotes and automatically capitalizing words. But those are options that are automatically turned on. If I uncheck them, of course, they will be turned off. Okay, the very last feature that I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to take that back, the second to last feature that I'm going to show you are the add-ons. So if I click here on add-ons and then I click get add-ons, Google allows third-party developers to create add-ons that can be used for within Google Docs, rather, not for Google Docs, within Google Docs. Now, some of these work great. I've downloaded some of them. Some of them don't work so well. It's really kind of up to you to explore that and decide what you want. So I'll leave that up to you to describe and use as you see fit. But there are add-ons that you can create there. The last thing I will show you is that if you are still set on using Microsoft Word, or even if you just want to export your files to PDF to someone else, if you go to File and then Download As, you can download your Google Docs file as any number of file types right here, and you can see all those options that are available there, and you can save it off of the cloud onto your hard drive, onto your disk, and if you want to take it home and edit it on Microsoft Word, you can do that, and it is right there and it is available for you. Okay, it's a very quick overview. Hopefully you don't have many questions. I tried to cover all of these general features, and I tried to cover the editing features, and I tried to cover the cool features. And if you have any questions, certainly let me know. I will be happy to help you out. Just as a friendly reminder, those of you who are doing this for the mini course, if you click on the link below this in the YouTube channel, you will be taken to the quiz, and you can take your quiz to earn your badge, which will look like this. And those of you who are taking the advanced class, you may continue on in Canvas onto the next portion of your class. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, best of luck with your technology.